Good afternoon. I'm Gregory Floyd, President Local 237 Teamsters. Welcome to our edition of our broadcast to inform our members of Local 237 what's going on with the union and what's going on with the COVID crisis. Before we begin, we'd like to start with a moment of silence for our deceased members, and also we want to pray for those who are still recovering from the coronavirus. These are tough times, and so is the work that you do. You may not hear it enough, but on behalf of all New Yorkers, thank you. We hear you, and we know that it has not been easy for you. We're trying to help out, and it has not been easy for us either. Locating and buying PPE is a slow process, and we're trying to get shipments in. And that's been difficult because we are facing what all the states and cities are facing, trying to locate equipment. Arrangements for free COVID testing for eligible members provided by Emblem Health. We continue to post legal advice on the Recovery Acts and rent assistance and more. We know you have many concerns and questions. That's why I wanted to speak to you today. I'd just like to update you on some important information. Before we move on to some of your questions, I want to show you an important chart with names and contact information that will answer many of your questions. COVID testing provided by Emblem Health for all members who work for New York City. There's the number. You can contact them for appointments. For our members that live in Long Island, on our Long Island Facebook page, we have information where you can also receive free testing. For members in New York City, we have some services that are provided by Stacy Braun Associates. We've contracted them for the last 6 years, and they give free financial counseling. And I can't think of a better time to stress that. 6 hours free in person or over the phone consultation. There's the 1-888 number. That's a dedicated number for Local 237 members. Please, we implore you to contact them in these troubling times because they can help now, they can help going into the future. And I can't think of a better time to start with free financial advice. They will not try to sell you anything. So you don't have to worry about somebody trying to sell you anything. That service is provided to you. Local 237 Legal Service Plan provides legal services for various needs. The number is provided on the screen. They are available by phone, and they are also available for consultation and setting up things and In this crisis, you may need that service. So please, please contact them if you need. MetLife Insurance, as of May 1st, has become our provider for life insurance. Prior to May 1st, it was Colonial Life. The Colonial Life policy was $11,500. As of May 1st, MetLife has now has the contract, and the benefit is $15,000 for members, and that was in the works before this virus occurred. The number to contact MetLife is there on the screen. Questions to call, the number is on the screen. The website is on the screen. Just want to let you know and keep you informed about important benefit life insurance. Additional supplement and security fund. Please update your beneficiaries. You need to update your beneficiary for the life insurance. If we have it on file, that's fine. If you need to update us, we need to update you, have us updated on life insurance, updated on your additional securities and supplemental, which is your annuity. We need to have information for that so we could give it to a beneficiary. Also, your pension. Citywide and housing, you belong to the New York City retirement system. The number is there on your screen. It's very important that you have a beneficiary for your pension, not only for what's going on now, but going into the future. Everyone should have a beneficiary. Long Island members and Javits, you belong to the New York State and local retirement systems. The number is there. You also need a beneficiary. Also, we have the New York City Board of Education retirement system. That number is provided. So it's very important that you have a beneficiary for your pension, for your life insurance, and your annuity. We have received many questions, and we want to give you answers. So what we did was we took the most commonly answered questions and the questions that pertain to all of our members. It would be impossible to go over all of the questions that we received. If we don't get to your question today, we'll be following up with your business agents. Please contact them. Here are some of the questions you asked. Is there more personal protection equipment coming? The answer is yes. We were able to come into a supply of hand sanitizer and gloves last week, and we are distributing them as we are speaking. If you have not received them at your location, please contact your business agent because we do have that in stock. We received a few shipments of masks. The only masks we were able to get were the K95s. We expect some more, but those shipments have been held up in transit. They've been held up with some hospital supplies, some state supplies, and we just have not received our additional shipments of masks yet. We do expect them to come in. And as soon as they come in, we will make every effort to get them out to the locations. Are we considered essential workers like first responders, healthcare workers, and transit workers? The answer is we are essential workers. The first responders are the police, the fire, the EMS drivers. They are first responders because they come on the scene first. We are considered essential workers because we are continuing to work. What is being done to provide us with health awareness? On our website and on our Facebook pages, we have information on health awareness, but we cannot stress the importance of contacting your personal physicians, because we cannot think of any better way to tell you that you can receive medical advice, but from a physician that you trust and you've been a patient with over the years. So please do not forget your physicians. We provided personal protection equipment to our members because when this crisis first started, we spoke to the city, New York City, and they assured us that they would provide personal protection equipment to our members as well as masks. Only to see the mayor of New York City come on television the next day in a briefing to say that he did not have supplies. It was at that moment we knew we had to go and try to find supplies for our members, because the city was not going to provide personal protective equipment for our members. It took us some time to locate people who had supplies, to get the supplies in, and we distributed them. We were doing the best we could under those circumstances. Now, I wanted to mention something very important. The 2020 census. Why do I bring that up? It's because it's important for us to fill out the 2020 census. You go online, 2020 census. There is a code for every family. You put in the code. You can fill it out online. It takes less than 10 minutes. But it's very important for each of us to fill this out and encourage our neighbors and friends to fill it out, because New York State does not have an accurate count and we have less people accounted for. We will get less funding for our schools. We'll get less funding for infrastructure projects. And also we will have less money going into our municipalities, which means there's less money for raises, less money for employment. So it's very important that we all participate in this. This we could do from our homes. It takes 10 minutes or less, and it's very, very, very important. It only happens every 10 years. Also, I want to bring up, on March 13th, we made a decision to close our office based on the information we were given. The information we were given was that New York City was going to be the hub for this virus. That's one. Two, we have business agents and our members and also our staff that come from all over the city, and they would congregate right in our building. And if our business agents came there and then went out to the locations and went from location to location, they could become people who spread the virus. And this crisis could have been far worse if our business agents and our staff were going around spreading the virus to different locations, and then you go and spread it. And they say for every one person affected, you can infect 4, and it can multiply. And then the hospitalization wouldn't have went down, and the need for respirators would have been greater, because we saw the governor come on and he has closed the Javits Center. He sent the ships back. So we could have had a crisis. But there's one question that was on everyone's mind. They want to know about hazardous duty pay. And Senator Schumer is scheduled to be with us, and I see that he's up on the green room. He took time from being on the Senate floor to be with us this afternoon, and we're just going to bring him on right now, and he's going to address us. Senator.
Hi, Greg, and thank you for having me on. I want to thank all your great 237 workers. You are frontline workers. You're right in the crisis. Your jobs are essential. You're exposed to the illness. And we, every night, New Yorkers, I do it out of my apartment window in Brooklyn, we get up and we applaud you. But my view is we should do more than applaud you. We should give you hazard pay. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But first, let me just thank you all of the 237 workers. Chuck Schumer and 237 have had a relationship maybe from the time when Greg Floyd was in grade school. I don't know. But for a very, very long time. And you are great, whether it's NYCHA or the hospitals or the homeless shelters to children's services. Our 237 workers, like so many other government workers, are our heroes. And I want to thank you for your hard work. But what I want to say to you right now is that we are fighting very hard in this new COVID-4 bill, which should be voted on in May, for what we call a COVID-19 Heroes Fund, which would provide an income boost to all essential workers. I know there have been a lot of questions about this proposal from the members of 237. So broadly speaking, eligibility is based on the threat of potential exposure to coronavirus. And there is a provision in the proposal that allows mayors and governors to determine that government employees are eligible to receive this pandemic premium pay. And I know that both our mayor and our governor have talked strongly about this provision and urged us to pass it. So I believe that they're on board. Now, unfortunately, we tried to get this in the last COVID bill, but it was blocked by our Republican friends. But we're pushing really hard to get it in this next package, which you can call COVID-4 or CARES 2. I want to get straight to the recent packages that we've had for coronavirus relief. We've had two watchwords. Healthcare first. Workers who are on the front lines need the resources to fight the coronavirus. And we created a Marshall Plan for our hospitals, for our nursing homes, for any healthcare institution. And we gave them nationally 150 billion, New York 25 billion. And last week, the administration announced they were sending 4.3 billion more to our hospitals and our other healthcare facilities because we are a hotspot. PPE is a very important issue to your members. And the Trump administration, we know, has screwed up the procurement, the production, and the distribution of this. So that's why we put this money in the CARES Act, extra money to pay for all this. And I've also called on President Trump to invoke something called the Defense Production Act, DPA, where they could take over the factories, create a czar, and demand that they make the masks, that they make the gloves, that they make the PPE, that they make the tests. The other thing we've done in this bill, so we're working really hard for a Marshall Plan for healthcare. The second thing we've done is put workers first. You know what the administration did in their plan? They put big corporations first. They had a $400 billion, some call it a slush fund, for the 1,000 biggest corporations. Here's what we did. First, we increased unemployment insurance by $600 a week through July 31st. So just about every New Yorker who's paid $75,000 or less in their salaries would get their full salary paid for by the federal government if, God forbid, you were laid off. In addition, we included direct care payments. Every adult will get $1,200, $2,400 for a couple making less than $75,000, and $500 for each kid in your family. So that's going to put $30 billion into our pockets of average New Yorkers, not the fancy people. Then we fought for more public housing. As you know, I've been along with Congresswoman Velasquez, she and I have been the leading defenders of public housing in the country. We put $685 million increase in the public housing operating fund. NYCHA is getting $137 million of that. And NYCHA will receive, we got an increase in the regular public housing fund before Corona. So overall, NYCHA gets about $637 million this year, which is more than they have gotten in a very long time. I know so many of your members work at NYCHA, and you deserve to get the kind of help you need to be safe, to keep the facility safe and protected. And so we've gotten some increases there. We got a moratorium, of course, as you know, for 3 months on evictions if you're a renter, 6 months if you're a homeowner, so your home isn't foreclosed on. But what we have to do now is give money for the people. In other words, so let's say you were not evicted for 3 months, but you lost your job. And this may not be you, but it may be a member of your family, a friend, a member of your congregation. Bottom line is that you need some money. So we're going to put in this COVID-4 bill some real money that help people pay for their rent and back rent. We're trying to get paid sick leave in the bill. We negotiated some increase in sick leave, but we need it to be universal. You get sick, you should get paid when you can't go to work. We also put in money for food, SNAP, $15 billion for SNAP benefits, et cetera. And we also, the other thing we did is help small businesses. And this may affect you even if you're not a small business person. We gave money to not only for the loans for the small business, grants for the small business, and ability to pay all the workers in the small business. It applies, many of you I know are members of churches and other congregations. It applies there. Our churches are so important to our spiritual growth. Our churches are so important to all the social services they do. Well, there's no collection plate. We allowed this same kind of grants that we gave to small businesses, forgivable loans and grants, to go to churches and other nonprofits. And I think that's very important for you. Finally, in this bill, this is very important to 237. We are making a huge push for much more money to the state and much more money to New York City and the other localities. Nancy and I discussed, we're asking probably, close to $1 trillion. You know, Mitch McConnell is attacking our government, state government, local government, who so many of you work. Well, we tell them, it's not state government. It's the people who clean the buildings and maintain the buildings. It's the policemen and firefighters. It's the people who work in the hospitals, our public hospitals and our public facilities. And they will all be thrown out of work. If our city goes bankrupt, if our state goes bankrupt. So we put some more money there. So let me just say, first, at the top of our list is heroes pay. We ask for $13 more an hour in addition to your salary for any frontline worker. And just about all of you will qualify for that because we believe the city will say city workers are frontline workers. Why the heck are you working if you're not a frontline worker? Because everyone who's not a frontline worker is supposed to stay home. And that will be $13 more an hour all the way through December 31st. So that should put some real money in people's pocket in addition to the salaries you earn. You are our heroes. You deserve our applause, and we give them to it, but you deserve a little more money too. And I know how many of you, Greg has told me the story of people who were walking to work because they didn't want to take the subways or buses, 10 miles, 5 miles. Some people have to take cabs because they don't want to go on the trains or the buses. They're worried about their safety. So many of our frontline workers have taken extra money out of their pockets. We ought to make sure we put a little more money back in, and that's what we're going to do. So with that, Greg, let me thank you. I did just get off the floor. I gave a speech talking about some of these things. And keep up the good work, 237. You are a force that has helped New Yorkers for several generations climb up the ladder. In other words, no one's going to become rich being a 237 worker, but at least you can live a life of some degree of dignity with the union protecting you. I'm a union guy all the way. Unions what made America. So many of my family members have benefited from unions, and I'm going to stick with you through thick and thin.
Thank you, Senator Schumer. We appreciate you coming on and updating us on your efforts in Washington to get hazardous duty pay, and we applaud you. We thank you very much. You're a true champion for the working men and women, especially in Local 237. So you have the senator muted. Can you unmute him so he could come on? Can you come on?
Thank you, Greg. Glad to be with you, and I hope to be back on your radio show soon.
Thank you, and you will. Matter of fact, You were our last live guest on March 13th. We saw each other and we spoke about this upcoming crisis, and we both stayed apart from each other,
Yes.
but we were in the same room, and we
are mentally, spiritually, and union-wise together.
Thank you.
Thank
you for your efforts.
Bye-bye.
We thank you for tuning in to this broadcast. One question that came to mind is, there are a lot of our members who need this information, who were not available to be on with us or couldn't get on because of the technical challenges. This will be on our Facebook pages. This broadcast will also be on YouTube. So it will be accessible. The information is readily available, and it's important for our members to hear, especially the last part when Senator Schumer came on and spoke about the hazardous duty pay, the possibility of $13 an hour that has to be federally funded. He cleared that up because we had a lot of questions about hazardous duty pay. So let's watch Senator Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, and let's champion them to get this bill through so that extra money can go into your pockets. So we plan on having more broadcasts in the future. Once again, for those who missed the broadcast or those who want to see it again, you can go on the website, you can go on Facebook, you can go on YouTube, and this broadcast will be available. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. Please be safe, and may God bless all of us. Thank you.